I think, or something. I was doing something with my dog when it came through. So I know all of us we weren't expecting that on this Saturday, right? But I think the Cowboys were already kind of expecting this. Now, there's this rumor going out there that people are saying, oh, Dan Bailey was just missing 1,000 kicks in training camp. I was at training camp 13 days. I think there was at training camp 16 total days. So I missed three days. I think they were training camp like 20 some days. So I know I missed 4 days. So basically, I was there 70% of the time. And keep it real, 70% of the time that I saw Dan Bailey, and from what he was doing, he looked like a decent kicker. He looked like a kicker. He looked like a guy who could kick the ball and he'd go through. And he was making it from distance. But what I think the Cowboys were really looking at is not the fact that you can make kicks at training camp, because Dan Bailey didn't look like he fell off at training camp, and neither did this Moore kid that came in. He didn't look like the God Wonder. I mean, it pretty much looked like Dan Bailey was mentoring another guy, a guy that was a little bit, who had a little bit of juice. So I think the Cowboys kind of have I think when they see it, I think they saw like a Sean Lee, Leighton Vander Esch situation where you have an older guy here who can kind of help this guy out, because one thing the Cowboys did get from Dan Bailey before they left is they got some free OJT, on the job training, because, I mean, I'm sorry, but if you in the worker community, you know how it is. Sometimes you train your replacement and don't even know. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, that's just how it is. And, you know what I mean? That was probably a Stephen Jones move, because Stephen Jones, you know when he got the hair going, man. I told y'all, watch out for Stephen Jones when that hair get going, because it ain't good, man. But, yo, the hair was going. And Dan Bailey basically trained he basically trained the guy who was replacing him. He probably didn't know. He got Des Bryant. But guess what, man? That's business. That's kind of like business. You know what I'm saying? And most importantly, as like, oh my God, I'm so mad as it sounds. And I'm just speaking right now. I'm speaking for the people who have, who cared about Dan Bailey. And not necessarily cared about Dan Bailey, but I'm speaking for the people who cared about him not being here. Because I think a lot of times, when you listen to shows, they just blow you up. Oh, well, he's a kicker. It doesn't matter. He's a kicker. Get him up out of here. You know what I'm saying? But, I know a lot of you guys, you guys valued him as a player, and y'all valued him in the organization. So, on West Coast show, I try to speak from both angles, because I know when they hit my boy DZ, that hit me. I ain't gonna lie. A couple of y'all hit me in my inbox. I appreciate you. My boy Daniel, you was there for me. My boy Maddox, you was there for me, man. Hey, I'm just saying to folks, I remember that was really there for me when that happened. You know what I'm saying? Bad day for West Coast. But, yeah. And I know this is a day, a weird day for some of you guys, but let's just look at the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to convince you guys that it was that cutting Dan move, Dan Bailey was this great astronomical move, but I want to let you guys kind of in on where Stephen Jones and where Jerry Jones are thinking. So when these moves happen, you're not just like, oh my God, I didn't know. Like some of this stuff, like we should kind of be like, dang, Dan Bailey got cut, but you know what? I can see it coming. Why? Because that guy, he's been training every day. Yeah, he looks pretty good, and he's cheaper, But let's get to the stats. My boy Michael Sizemore at Michael Sizemore, he said this is some stats, and I checked these out to make sure they was accurate. He says Dan Bailey's field goals dropped from 93% in 2015, his best season. 93.8% best season, to 84 in 2000 season, then dropped to 75% in 2017. Now, obviously, he had a growing muscle, so I'm not even gonna, give that some warrant. He did have a growing muscle, but I see it like this, man. You see in 2014 what they paid him, man. They paid him $4.9 million. He had his best season. 2015, they got $1.7 million. Now, if you look at his contract, it goes up each year, and by the numbers are saying that he's going down almost 9% each year. So I'm just looking at Jerry Jones, and I'm thinking about Stephen Jones. I think Stephen Jones goes into this deal, and he's like, yo, we have someone who is, very productive, but the numbers are saying that he is going to have the best season that he's had in 3 years in order for him to be back to where we want him or even expect him to be. And you got to think of it like this. You also got to see it like this. Think about those records when in 2015. 2015, we were a crap team. Let's go ahead and think about it. We were a team, right? He was kicking a lot of field goals. You know what I'm saying? It was because we couldn't get into the end zone. Then 2016 happened. Guess what? We started blowing people out by, we ain't gonna blow people out. But when you averaging, the average win in the NFL by like 12, 13 points, that's a blowout. You know what I'm saying? That's what we were doing in 2016. Like, we were literally dogging people. You know what I'm saying? So he was mainly kicking what? Extra points. You know what I'm saying? There weren't, how many games did we win in 2016 by 3 points? I encourage anybody to put that in our comment box. I got some educated scouts. Let me know. How many points, how many games in 2016 did we win by 3 points? West Coast, I'm pretty good. My old noggin up here. I keep my hair low so you can't see my hairline, though. But I'm pretty good up here with my stats, but I don't think there was too many. But hey, Scott, man, my boy Scott, you always in the comment. You always making sure West Coast on point. Scott, let me know, man. Scott, let me know. How many did we do? How many games in 2016 did we win by 3 points? You know what I'm saying? Then 2016 happened. A little bit up or down. You know what I'm saying? I just think the Cowboys saw an opportunity to save some money, keep it real. And I think they used the exact same math they used on Dez Bryant, and they equated it to Dan Bailey, and it spit out Dan Bailey shouldn't be on the team. And you know what this really correlates more than anybody? When I say this move correlates with anybody, what I think it really correlates with anybody? Go, Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott.